Turning Point USA has been caught red-handed doctoring more footage to try to frame Tyler Robinson. Yeah, they are trying to hide impossible physics, and they're failing miserably every time and making complete asses out of themselves. They think you're stupid. And today we're going to look at jaw-dropping lies from Turning Point USA and the truth. I'm going to show you. And listen, Turning Point USA just again accidentally proved their own narrative is a farce. It's BS. Turning Point USA just blew it all up on their own. They think you're gullible. They think you're dumb. So now they keep telling new lies to cover up old ones. And each one leaves behind even more incriminating evidence. But now they've been caught red-handed.
Blake, how you doing?
I was better a few minutes ago, Andrew.
Doctoring footage to frame Tyler Robinson, and they are panicking after their biggest lie just got exposed on air. So a surprise to probably literally no one, I am not a pew-pew person. What I know is if you fire a 30-06, a round literally designed to drop a 3,000-pound moose, and if you drop that into, trigger warning here, a human neck, you're not just going to get an exit wound. You are going to get a bit of an explosion. This is physics. It is horrible. And yet, in the official story of Charlie Kirk's, the exit wound magically doesn't exist. For weeks, independent researchers, pew-pew owners, and people who actually understand the science of this have been screaming that the official narrative is ballistically impossible, mathematically impossible, scientifically impossible.
Okay, folks, so realistically, I should be able to do this on the first shot because fucking Tyler Robinson did this on the first shot.
Man,
are we getting the picture?
That was not, that was off. That was wrong. That was not a bullet.
All the different types of impossible, it is that. But today, the story gets even darker because now they are doctoring evidence to protect their official timeline. Why? Why would they do that? It is so nuts. But today, I'm going to show you the impossible physics of all of this. And I'm going to show you, more importantly, the shocking bold-faced lie that Turning Point USA just broadcast, because they won't stop. Real quick, if you're new here, I'm Lauren Paritra. Willa Paritra and I, we do this every single day out of pure principle and an absolute refusal to let you guys ever fall victim to Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller is always scurrying around. You never know where he is. You could hear a little click, click, click in the night, and he could be in your crawl space. He could be underneath your sink. So know that you need to hit that sub button. You need to hit that follow button. Comment 5 words, 6 words or more. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts, wherever you watch or listen, because it's the only action that really pisses him off. It's like a shock collar to his little insect, legumey body. So why does it feel like every single time Turning Point USA tries to debunk the timeline, they just end up looking so freaking shady and making the whole situation worse? So I got a few text messages and a voice note from Jesse on Fire last night, who's been really deep in this as well and who has expertise that complements mine because, like I said, I don't know shit about. He does. And then we were looking, Willa and I were looking at our feed this morning, and we looked at Andrew Colvett and what he's been posting. First of all, there's a whole lot of activity around Erica Kirk in this moment, a whole lot of activity around Mikey McCoy. We covered it first. And the new level of desperation coming from Andrew and Blake right now, next level. It is so weird. And instead of just calmly presenting evidence, they are having a complete and total meltdown. So Andrew, a couple days ago, decides to post this clip of an Army Ranger. They brought him on to explain away the 30-60 ballistics. And they caption it, this is for anyone who questions the official story. They're calling all those people who question things cultists. And they're claiming that anyone who's questioning things just wants Tyler Robinson to escape justice. I think there's more options there. I don't think I feel strongly about Tyler Robinson. Like I said, I don't really have skin in this game, but I don't like to see shady shit go down and dangerous shit and all of this. And I don't like to see these people doing what they're doing to their friend. It's fucked up. So Army Ranger Tab came on, and they positioned this as debunking the exploding microphone theory and explaining the science behind the ballistics that Charlie. And they said, we don't like doing segments like this, but it's necessary to fight the cultists committed to helping Tyler Robinson escape at all costs.
So you've got a pretty impressive resume there, and you understand ballistics, you understand explosives. So I'm going to play this clip. There's actually 2 clips because he's done it twice. It's gone on Newsmax, and he said the following, SOP 14.
It's not like I'm out there saying big lie or a conspiracy or someone did it. I'm just saying this thing looked shady off the bat. And I've never seen a shirt move like that. That looks like an explosion to me.
Matt, is he wrong?
Yep, he's wrong. Yeah, so we can go ahead and we can get rid of the exploding microphone theory right off the bat. That got revived by a man goes by the name of John Bray. Thoroughly debunked him. People are welcome to go over to my X profile and take a look at the work. At the end of the day, even half a gram of petin, the amount of petin that's in there in a shaped charge, explosives work equally, right? They're basically omnidirectional when they end up going off, and that little half gram of petin ends up exploding into a gaseous space of about 400 cubic inches instantaneously at over 8,000 meters a second. That means that little plastic microphone underneath the shirt would have instantly been gone long before anything ended up reaching his neck. It had blown a hole in his shirt, easily the size of that microphone. And when we start talking about the actual projectile itself for the 30-06, has been around since the late 1930s. All right. It doesn't use modern day bonding techniques. It's got a soft lead point, and it's got a thin copper jacket that wraps around it. And the reason you have to have that thin copper jacket is because that lead would basically be disintegrated if you were just, shooting it out at the barrel at the velocities that we shoot these things at. Here we can see that copper jacket that is opened up.
I'm not trying to disrespect Rob O'Neill's service. I have a great respect for his service to the country. But this becomes fuel that is then taken and they run with it. And next thing you know, Erica Kirk's being accused of something heinous, okay?
A lot of people watched this segment and had similar reactions likely to you and I. So listener, you can do everything right. You can have strong passwords, security apps, alerts turned on, and still it's not enough, because then you get the notification, unusual activity detected. You open your banking app and the money is already gone. Scammers aren't just after your data anymore. They're after your money, your credit, your identity, and your time. That's why I switched to CoverOn. CoverOn doesn't just detect problems, it steps in when money is on the line. If your personal data is exposed or your accounts start acting suspicious, you get real-time alerts and expert support to help secure everything before it becomes a full takeover. And if money is already gone, you're covered with serious financial backup, up to $10,000 if you lose money to scams or online fraud, up to $2 million in identity theft recovery coverage, up to $25,000 in home title insurance, and up to $50,000 if you're targeted with cyber extortion or threats. Because protection isn't just about stopping threats, it's about what happens after. You don't need another notification telling you something went wrong. You need actual financial backup. So one scam can cost you everything, and I need you to protect yourself now. The first 100 users get 20% off with code LPTV at checkout. You're going to go to coveron.com/LPTV. Don't wait until a small mistake becomes a full financial disaster. Protect yourself now. So Le Great Jonathan wrote, I don't get it. If you're so sure of the current narrative, just let it run its course and allow Candace and the others to talk into the void. The fact that you're doing all this coverage to attempt to prove your point makes it look even more weird. I was sympathetic to all of you initially, but TBH, to be honest, y'all are just making this weird. And then Ricardo Itano wrote, Charlie Kirk would have actually had on John Bray to discuss his own theory instead of finding someone else to try and debunk it. This is another example of how all of you are disingenuous about searching for the truth. Bottom line, you are all cowards. If it made you feel weird, it's probably because it's a little bit freaking weird. So have you ever really wondered why they are so desperately trying to get you on board with their official narrative that defies the laws of physics? We've covered it in a previous episode. We showed a video previously. We're not going to do it now because we're on YouTube watch list pretty much, and everything gets demonetized and deprioed. But there's a video, and I'm just going to describe it to you, where they shoot a piece of meat with this 30-06, and it basically explodes. It is so graphic. I could barely watch it. I just caught a glimpse of it, and that's what happens here. So 2 nights ago, Turning Point USA tries to run this segment to put these rumors to bed They bring on a Green Beret, and then their big proof point is a clip from this popular ballistics channel, Valhalla VFT. We're going to likely collab with that show at some point soon. Jesse's a pal of theirs, and Jesse has been sharing a lot of insight from them. But Turning Point USA used his footage to tell their audience. They were like, see, 30-06 can absolutely do this without an exit wound. But the receipts are actually pretty clear, and all the evidence tells a completely different story. As far as the rifle goes, I've never really covered this in too much detail because, you know, it's not my thing. But there is a story here that we need to talk about. So the caliber of they said hit Charlie's neck is fundamentally impossible to have been what hit him. It is, again, the most widely used round for hunting 3,000-pound moose. It's been tested 1 million times since Charlie was, and Jesse even said by him personally, he went out on his buddy's ranch and they had every type of 30-06 round, all the way down to like frangible bullets designed to break apart that were manufactured during World War II. The crazy part to me is that Jesse said this. Jesse and his pals set up targets like big roasted chickens, cow femur, taped them, and every round not only went all the way through, they exploded. And I said something like, you know, about how the caliber of the used made like an explosion. And he said that it is such an enormous oversight that they're going with this that it boggles his mind. He says that his hypothesis is that they needed a rifle without a serial number. So they went with a World War II rifle, Tyler Robinson's grandfather's. They just didn't think it all the way through. Here's what they didn't show you again. They are taking an expert who's deliberately cutting out a conclusion that doesn't match up with anything anyone else is saying. They're telling their audience a bold-faced, calculated lie. And as you can see, even their own audience is turning on them. So why are they pushing so hard to convict Tyler Robinson in the court of public opinion when we're not far out from like the actual trial itself, assuming it goes through? It is really strange. And then this is the point that Andrew Colvett speaks, and it is incredibly shady.
You asked what you're gonna see. You're gonna see people that are some of the most powerful people in the country and in the world coming on to the show, joining the vice president to pay tribute to their friend, their colleague, somebody that they strategized with, that they worked on various parts of the campaign and the transition and then the early days of the Trump White House. And so
the interview here showcases how Turning Point's leadership has been managing their own media appearances. And as somebody who's managed many of media appearances and who worked in entertainment, I can tell it's a bunch of bros who think they know what they're doing and they're making themselves look so bad, but they have no idea because they're such hotheads and they're defending their own organization's narrative in the aftermath of this huge giant mess. So why are they lying? We know at this point that it is 100% impossible. So why are they hijacking this footage? Why are they clipping things out of context? Why are they lying about conclusions to frame Tyler Robinson? Maybe it's a vendetta. Maybe it's a vendetta because Tyler Robinson is queer, had a queer lover. We don't know. But there is something incredibly ironic happening here. And it seems to be like things are about to come to a head. So I want to know what you guys think. Like I said, many of you have written in with your own experience and your own insight on this matter. So let me know in the comments, and we'll be back with more.